Hello, everybody.
Hey, everybody. It looks like we're live.
I'm alive.
I'm alive. How about you?
Okay.
He's got a much more colorful shirt on than I do. But, like black looks better on me. But
Okay.
I can't pull off blue like you do.
You didn't tell me to wear black today.
No, really. It's fine. It looks really good. Doesn't he look great? And you guys, he just got new shoes that totally match his shirt. I think they look ridiculous. They're Vans and they have like this big tropical pattern.
Cool.
No, they look ridiculous, really. He's trying to like revisit
Vans
his...
are cool.
No. So today, guys, we wanted to talk to you about some things that we're hearing in the housing market.
We're hearing things?
Yeah, we're always hearing something,
Okay.
man. It's like I got my ear to the ground. I'm like this big researcher. And so I'm constantly like reading articles, watching videos. Like every video I make takes about like around 8 hours of research and writing and all that to make. So I'm constantly like reading this stuff. And sometimes I'm like, what the heck? What is this? Like, I'm always so far off. And so I recently watched a video. And so I said, Dale, you got to watch this video. And so I brought him in and he started watching it. And then I was like, okay, I think I want to make a video, a live stream about this. True story?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a true story.
I think I remember that.
You think so? God, are you listening to me? Okay. So, guys, I want to show you this video. I want to show you this video that I watched. Okay, because just kind of think through with me as you watch it. Okay, because it's pretty wild. Okay. Are you ready? Okay, I'm going to hit play. Here we go.
Welcome back. The real estate market has been kind of dicey this year. So if you're planning to buy or maybe sell a home this year, here's what you need to know about the housing market predictions in 2024 and how you can prepare as well. Joining us this morning is Jacqueline Ryan Wynn. She's a real estate agent here from Allie Beth Alman and Associates. Thank you so much for joining us here on Midday.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm very honored.
Yeah, and I know you've got some time in the game, so you know exactly what to look for and what people need to know. So tell us, what are the current housing trends right now? What are things looking like?
Well, it's great, except we just need more inventory. That's our problem.
Yeah. When we talk about rates, still high? Are they going down at all? I know the
interest rates have gone down. So that's the good news. And the only bad news is we wish we had more houses to sell. We have a limited inventory. And other than that, everything's great.
Right.
All right. So everything's great. Okay.
Except for not enough homes.
Yeah. So everything's great, guys, in the Dallas housing market, except there's just not enough inventory. All right. What does everybody think about that? Please, if you have opinions on this, please comment, because I was just like talking to my laptop when I watched it. I was like, are you kidding? Like, I don't know. I mean, that just didn't seem like what we're experiencing, what we're, experientially seeing in the market. So anyway, so I thought that was really interesting.
Man, I just know from when we've been showing buyers, no matter whether they're looking at new construction or pre-owned. I mean, we've had several choices. If I could just got some buyers under contract that we've looked for a long time, and we every time we went and looked, we had several homes to look at. I think it's more about where you look, and maybe we'll see. There's a special word will come up here in a minute. Maybe.
I mean, what would you see like that one family we just got under contract? Would you say you looked like at 30 houses? I feel like it was at least 30. Yeah, maybe 40. I mean, the inventory's out there, and like buyers can be picky.
Always had, and some of them are still on the market, but some of them went fast too. It depends. And I've had some interesting, and we'll get to that. Some of these interesting conversations I've had with listing agents and other buyers agents when we get to this other part of the video here.
But everything's great. We just need more inventory.
Oh, that's not bad. We're doing okay.
Yeah. All right, you guys. So I want to show you this article because I think
we're not.
This is really interesting. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
Ready. Okay. This is an article from the Dallas Morning News, and it says, the funny thing is that literally this article came out the same day I watched that video or thereabouts. And so like you had on the one hand, like everything is great. And then I saw this article and it uses the word jolt. This is a new chapter. Will dropping rates jolt DFW's housing market? So if we have a housing market where everything is great, why do we need a jolt? Like, okay, tell me what's going on here. Like, why would I even need something called a jolt. Okay, so let's take a look at this article. Home prices in Dallas-Fort Worth were flat last month, and sales fell slightly compared to last August, despite big supply increases. Now, why? Okay, all right, this is something I've never understood. Why do they say despite? Because I would think that like supply increases would lend itself, like not despite, but because of. Anyway, my thoughts on that. Let's see here now. Okay, so let's see. However, recent mortgage rate drops and projected future interest rate cuts could make 2025 an exciting year for the housing market. This August, not much different than last year, except the region's supply is way up. But wait a minute. I thought we just needed more houses. Yeah. Except the region's supply is way up, according to data released by the Texas A&M Real Estate Research Center. Active listings hit 29,865 in North Texas, up 45% year over year. Months of housing inventory hit 4 months, the most since October 2012.
Wow.
Despite that, prices and closed sales haven't changed much.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
No,
Well, I was going to
go
say,
ahead.
since May, closed sales have gone down from 11,582 down to 9,929.
Wow.
So we have
Mhm.
that's, 2,000.
Definitely slower, less sales,
1,500,
less closings.
1,600.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And days on the market from the same time it's been going up too. So
He's
yeah.
looking up days on the market. If it's what it's saying. Yeah. And I think too, like, when I read that, despite that prices and close prices and closed sales haven't changed much, I think you have to think about the fact that it's like, this is like across the board. And so you'll have pockets where prices absolutely have changed much, that we've seen like some real opportunities. But it's just that it's across the board, when they average everything out, that prices haven't changed much. So let's see. The median price of a DFW home did not move from almost $400,000. This figure includes existing single-family homes, condos, townhomes, and other similar properties sold on the MLS last month. Median price of a single-family home, $405,000, no change from last year. 8,170 closed sales in the region, down 4.3% from August 2023. Homes are also staying on the market longer. From first listing to close, houses spend a total of 82 days on the market. That's 10 days more than last August. Okay, so think about that, guys. You have sellers and you have houses that are staying on the market for 82 days. Okay, so that's almost 3 months of houses sitting on the market, of sellers having to get their houses ready every time there's a showing. Okay, that's going to affect motivation. I mean, it's hard to sit there with your house on the market.
So yeah, when I've been out, talking to listing agents or buyers agents when we're showing homes and stuff, especially if you there's been a lot more open houses I've noticed, because the homes are sitting on the market a while, so they're trying to jolt to get some more
jolt
people,
it.
Come in and stuff. But I see a lot of the issue was that when they first listed them, they were thinking, oh, we ought to be able to get us a pretty good, price. They were listing in March, maybe April, sometime like that. We had to get us a pretty good price. Last year was great. We can ask for this much, and they were listing for higher prices. And then they find out it's not working out, so they're coming way down and they're sitting. And the longer a home sits on, especially pre-owned, sits on the market, no matter how good the price comes down to, the more it sits around, because people are starting to wonder what's the problem and stuff. So
I know we've seen that too. Our buyers are like, wait, why is that still on the market? What am I missing here?
That's kind of fitting with
it is, isn't it?
And so buyers have been having a lot more choices. They're looking around more. In most places. It depends.
Right.
There's definitely some price ranges and some areas where it's still going pretty fast.
Villa Purim, well, that's a last name for you, said it's a months-long trend in DFW. More houses may be on the market, but it's not the type of supply that buyers want. Yeah. The homes are likely priced too highly.
And here comes the word.
It's just
You
not.
didn't say it.
Okay, what word? I'm in the dark here. What word do you want me to say?
They're not affordable.
Okay, yes, that is true. He's right, you guys. We were talking about this. Is that the whole issue is they're not affordable. And so when you have somebody saying the market's great, everything's great, we just need more inventory, it's not it's not inventory that we need. We need
more affordable.
We need more affordable inventory. Okay. Yeah. So, and I think like, oh my goodness, you hear this everywhere. People quote all these numbers about how we have a housing shortage, you know, and that lady said the same thing. It's like, we have a housing shortage. We just need more homes to sell. It's not necessarily about that. It's about that they're not affordable. At least not in
this market for sure.
Yeah, it's that they're not affordable. So let's see. Okay. It's just not moving the median. Let's see here now. It's just not moving the median price in any meaningful way, he said. Todd Luong, an agent with Remax DFW Associates, said lower sales numbers in August could be the result of buyers waiting for interest rates to drop further. Affordability, there it is, remains a concern. And I can tell you, I was on a meeting with a buyer right before this live stream, and she was saying like, well, what do I do? You know, like the election's coming up, our interest rate's going to go down. If interest rates go down, our price is going to go up. And there's just a lot of uncertainty, I think, that can cause buyers to kind of hold out and go, you know, hey, our rate's going to be at 5% next year. You know, like that idea of like, maybe I should hold out. Let's see here now. Where was I? Okay. Affordability remains a concern. While buyers are staying on the sidelines, those who have decided to purchase are starting to see some friendlier terms. He says, I help my buyers secure a property in Bent Tree, a popular neighborhood off the tollway. They're offering below asking price, and the seller has no choice but to take it. Buyers have a lot more bargaining power, he said.
Yep.
Preach it. That's the truth, isn't it?
Yeah. So just two recent sets of clients that we got under contract. Both of them, the homes were already priced to sell. Well, I mean, they had been on the market for a little bit, okay, but they lowered them to the point where they were priced to sell. So comps showed that actually they probably could have sold it for a little bit higher. They were already in that point, but we were just because at that point the sellers really needed to sell. They wanted to sell. We were able to get concession. One of them we got $30,000 in concessions.
Wow.
And a lower price.
Wow.
And then what they were already listing. And the other one we got, lower price, and we were able to get a bunch of free furniture. So I mean,
cool.
What do you?
Yeah, and
it's there.
And it's funny because like I'm always like, if I'm not embarrassed by this offer, it's not a good offer. And these offers are embarrassing. They're just so low. And Dale's like, he was at one of them. He was like, they really want me to ask for this, and he's kind of cringing a little bit, but then they got it. So it's like, go ahead and ask. So in this kind of market, guys, don't pay full price. It's like, this is not the market unless it's like, a bidding war where it's just drastically reduced.
Yeah. I mean, there are, because we definitely, in looking at all these, we have ran into some homes that were priced well. They were really nice homes, and they were going fast. And so they were going to sell for higher than what they were listing. So there's still some of those out there. So I think, especially if you find some homes that they updated and then they priced it well, they will go fast because buyers are that's what they're looking for. So
yeah,
we're kind of waiting around, just watching for that.
And I was thinking, like, if you see a home that's like way below the median sales price, like in Frisco, if you see a house for like $500,000, that's a house that if it's in reasonably good condition, it's going to go fast, right? Because
not like the Frisco one we saw where there's like a split like this and the brick in the front.
He gets to see some fun houses. I mostly stay in the office and write videos and analyze and take data, and he gets out there and has all the fun. He gets to go meet the people and see the houses. Okay, let me see now. Where were we? Okay, so definitely buyers have a lot more bargaining power. But everything's great. We just need more houses. Okay. The average 30-year mortgage rate was 6.09%, down from 6.2% last week, according to Freddie Mac. Now, Dale, you were telling me something about interest rates.
Yeah, they did come down, but then right after this recent Fed cut, they went back up 0.25%, which is crazy. This is not okay. You have to remember, that long-term rates, like mortgage rates, 30-year rates, are not directly affected by the federal rates that cut. The federal rates have to do with the rates that banks charge each other, like credit card rates and that type of thing. And what happens is the bond, the long-term rates follow more like the bond market and stuff. So they had already priced this cut in, so the mortgage rates went up a little bit. They'll probably still continue to come down some, especially if there are more Fed cuts, then rates will probably most likely come down. But they may go up some as they're going down too.
I actually did a video on that. I think it was out like 2 weeks ago, right before the Fed's meeting, where it was like, here's what you need to know about interest rates. And one of the things I said was like, even if the Fed lowers rates may not go down. They could go up, and ended up.
Also, I can't remember who it is now. There's a few people that have followed rates for the last like 10 years or something like that. And not quite 10 years, the last 5 or 6 years, maybe, I think of maybe 6 or 7 years, something like that. Every September, actually, mortgage rates have gone up. So
Interesting.
it is a September. They went down but they went back up. So maybe that's fallen down a little bit.
All right, let's see here now. The Federal Reserve anticipates 4 more cuts by the end of 2025. Mortgage rates don't follow moves by the Fed as other factors impact the housing market, which is just exactly what you just said.
It's going to be more about the economy and things like that. Because we're.
However, Freddie Mac's chief economist, Sam Cater, said in a statement that the recent drop in mortgage rates is reviving purchase and refinance demand. I think that's interesting because yesterday we got 4 new buyers in one day. And so that was really kind of weird to have like this sudden influx of volume, like bam, bam, bam. I was like, whoa. A lot of scheduling, and now I'm on Google Meets like the entire rest of the week. So I was kind of wondering like, oh, is this from interest rates? Like typically like our busiest season is like October, through January, because we always tell our buyers, if they can, go ahead and wait, she'll get a better price. But that surprised me because that was a lot to get in one day. So I was like, is this interest rate starting to kick the market in? Okay, let's see here now. Declining mortgage rates over the last several weeks indicate this cut was mostly baked in. It was. But we expect rates to fall further, sparking more housing activity.
Yeah.
It won't all happen overnight. Very true. This decline, coupled with future mortgage rate drops next year, will likely spur some activity. I do agree with that. I think if we have like massive unemployment kick in or something, that could change it. But otherwise, I kind of feel like it'll be a strong summer.
Yeah.
If we have lower rates, and summer's usually active anyway.
Well, yeah, we do know the jobs market is still low. There's basically the new jobs numbers are flat. Is not getting new job, and it's all kind of messed up anyway because there's people that have been unemployed for a while. They're not even on the list anymore, so they're not counted. But I guess it will depend, if how that goes. I hope we don't go real low, because then we might become back to a big seller's market, and
I know.
But then and it'll be just more unaffordable.
I know. And my disappointment over that shows you that we really do tend to work with buyers more, because I always just I want the buyers to have the upper hand. So we need to be more balanced. But and you actually just gave a spoiler alert, because it's going to talk about the job market too. Homeowners who locked in low interest rates years ago but want an upgrade or a bigger home could finally make a move. Wilson said he hopes the rate cuts will sustain DFW home builders and rev up activity in the existing home market as well. Why do we need the market revved up if everything's great? Those who buy homes, I need to stop that.
Everybody has their own opinion.
I know, I need to stop that. That video just really cracked me up. Those who bought homes when rates were higher will begin to refinance. Villapuram said the advantage of lower rates could be eaten away next year if the supply of desirable homes doesn't increase. And I think the key word there is desirable. Home prices, he said, could go up. Long pointed to ongoing affordability concerns. Buyers have to come up with a down payment, and home insurance rates have increased dramatically over the past few years. Would you say that's true? The interest rates, because I know you, he pays all the bills. I'm not going to lie. Would you say that the insurance? Well, it's saying that insurance has gone up.
Oh yeah, insurance has definitely gone up. It's been going up.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're paying less. So
yeah.
That's a whole nother story.
Oh my goodness, don't get me started. Okay, but here's the thing you were talking about. Wilson expressed concern about DFW's employment numbers. Okay. Relocation buyers. Preach it right here. This is so true. Relocation buyers play a big role in DFW's housing market. I have often said if people stop moving to Dallas, the housing market would be in trouble, right? Relocation buyers play a big role in DFW's housing market, and Wilson wants to see DFW.
So we were half of last year in new jobs.
You're reading ahead, okay? Just like, hey, did you want to read it?
I don't want to read word for word in the scan and getting the data.
Okay. As of August, DFW. Okay, so he wants to see it be 100,000. As of August, DFW has added 58,700 jobs annually, roughly half of last year's pace, according to the Texas Workforce Commission estimate released Friday. So yeah, everything that you were saying is right. It's like we're not seeing the jobs, and so if you don't have people moving into the area, relocate. Why do relocators come?
Jobs.
I mean, it's not always about jobs, but I think that's a lot. I mean, I think that definitely has
an impact. Big D.
And or they just love Dallas. Okay, let's see. Let me see here. He's hopeful DFW will hit the market in 2025 as rate cuts boost demand and hiring. This is a new chapter, Wilson said. We're getting ready to see rates come down. I'm hopeful that rates stimulate the market, but gosh, by golly, we sure need to get our job growth back up.
Yeah.
And it's true. You were already noticing that. So basically, this is what we have in a market where everything is great. We have sales kind of flatlining. Prices aren't really going up, but they're not really crashing either. And so, you have the housing crash people who really want to see it really go down. You speak. I got to give the dog his food. He's whining. Sorry, our fur baby's whining. You talk.
No crashing. Well, people talk about crashes, and there's definitely been crashes, but not in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Right.
We're a very steady moving housing market here. A lot of it, I think, I used to always say before it was about there was just so much space to build. So we always had plenty of inventory to take care of that, which is still true, but building has gone down over the years. Now I think a lot of it has to do just more that this is just one of the top job markets in the nation. So that really helps.
Yeah. But then
even in the 2008 to 2010 timeframe, we did not have a crash here.
True.
There were crashes in a lot of other places. We did not have a crash here.
In fact, actually, I was talking about that in a video I recorded today where I was going through like the history of Dallas and the fact that it actually hasn't ever, we've never really seen a crash. The biggest drop we had year over year was 7%. Yeah. And that was between like 2010 and 2011. And then this last year, it was like 0.02%. Okay. Employment is down.
Yep.
Okay. Relocating buyers play a big role. And they do. Yep. And if they're not relocating because of jobs.
I wonder, I haven't seen numbers on how many people are still moving in. So.
Yeah.
I have to look that up again.
Yep. So.
Okay. Keep going.
Saying relocating buyers play a big role. Supply is up. I love this quote in this article. Okay. More houses may be on the market.
But it's not the time.
It's not the type of supply that buyers want. Okay. The homes are likely priced too highly. So to me, this is a pivotal comment here. Pardon Dale as he goes to take care of the dog. Sorry, he's letting him out. Anyway, so now this is a pivotal comment, I think, though, because it's like the word that people leave out. Okay. They talk about how we have a housing shortage and we need inventory and all that, but they just leave out that part that it's not just about housing. It's about affordable housing. So let me see here now. It's not the supply that buyers want. All right.
Myths.
That's one of the biggest myths. I really like this graphic. Do you like it?
The inventory thing. Yeah.
The inventory thing is the big myth, you guys. The fact that I mean, and this has got to make sense, right? Now, this article is even talking about how supply is way up. In fact, let me show you this other article, same newspaper, right?
It kind of makes it
Dallas
a
Morning
buyer's
News.
market, which we've known that for at least half of this year. So
Yeah. Okay. So Dallas Morning News again, right? We just read an article where they were talking about how, we have supply that's up, not, sales are flat and everything. So this was like maybe a couple weeks before that. And to me, as I was reading this, I was like, this is where the deception comes in, where they talk about the housing shortage, but they don't say that it's an affordable housing shortage. So this whole article, Texas must build hundreds of thousands of new homes to combat shortage, state report says. Texas has the most building permits since 2008, but it isn't keeping up with population growth in urban areas.
I think it's in some areas I can see that. Yeah.
Texas needs to build hundreds of thousands of homes to keep up with growing demand and curb high housing costs.
When was the article done?
Good question. Let's see here, August 28. This is right about a month, so this is not a very old article. Let's see here now. And curb high housing costs. The report released Tuesday found Texas has had the most building permits issued for privately owned housing units since 2008, but building hasn't kept pace with population growth, particularly in the state's urban areas. Texas needed, this stuff just kills me. Texas needed 306,000 more homes as of 2023, according to one estimate cited in the report. A lack of supply for middle and lower income earners. Okay, that's the true part right there.
It's
A lack of
affordability.
supply for middle and lower income earners is the center of the
Well, we have to
housing
be careful with
affordability
that
issue.
to get into building low end. You don't want to build low income home.
Yeah, you want a balance for
And
sure.
So then you bring down the areas.
Oops. Let's see here now. The median home price in Texas rose 40% between 2019 and 2023, the study found. DFW has also felt the pressures of population growth and housing demand more acutely than other large Texas metros. And this other part, I didn't really go into it too much, but this lower part, it's talking about, how the price jump in Dallas, population growth. And I can, by the way, guys, I can tell you right now, this article would probably be used by a lot of like your Dallas area realtors saying, we have a housing shortage, shortage, right? And that's what it says, right? I mean, that's what it says, but it's just leaving out that one important word, affordable. And so it builds this sense of scarcity when you hear that.
You got to look in the right places too. There are definitely some homes, a lot of homes in some places, in some parts of Dallas, especially the exurbs and stuff like that. There's tons of homes. So.
Yeah. But and my struggle with when people use these kinds of articles to say there's a housing shortage is when there's like pressure. You better hurry up and buy because there's not that many out there. We have a housing shortage. Yeah. That kind of stuff drives me a little bit crazy, honestly, especially when we're seeing,
they want the prices to go back up.
Yeah, especially when we're seeing like, on the one side, everything's great. And then we see an article that says the market needs to be jolted.
Yeah.
And then we have, so it's like the news is kind of all over the place. Dallas Morning News recently spoke with a North Texas builder, a potential home buyer, a real estate and finance professor, multiple housing research firms. Okay, we get the point. DFW has been among the nation's leaders in apartment and single family housing production, but it isn't enough. Okay. By one estimate, DFW metro area is still short almost 50,000 units. So again,
I could see from that standpoint that might be partly true, but so that can't be completely true either, though, because rents actually went down. So if we were short in multifamily and stuff like that, then rents would go up.
Yeah.
So
So you see kind of like how we hear this stuff, but then when you're actually like active in the market, that's not what you see.
Got to put all the numbers together, not just pick and choose your numbers.
Yeah. DFW has been among the nation's leaders. Okay. This shortage is so this is probably true. This shortage is particularly felt by the region's poorest. Dallas nonprofit Child Poverty Action Lab estimates nearly 34,000 apartments are needed in the city of Dallas for lower income residents. Okay, so that part is true.
I mean, they're talking about, so there's a certain level that rents are not come down to for sure. But
Steve Langridge, owner of Builder Taft Homes. Let's see what he had to say. And Sriam Villapuram, professor of real estate, previously told the news that smaller lot sizes and increasing density would help lower costs for apartments.
Okay,
and
some of
single-family
these
homes.
people, you have to be careful. There is a push in Dallas for what they're calling Dallas Forward, where they want to increase density and change zoning. Dallas Fort Worth is kind of unique to a lot of other cities, even in Texas, where we have a more strict zoning, and it keeps residential areas mostly nice, and you're not like packing houses in or multifamily. You keep multifamily where multifamily is, and you keep other single family where it is, and not. And there's a big push that's supposed to help help the Dallas Fort Worth area to increase density by quite a bit, but it's going to make a lot of these neighborhoods really bad. They're going to look for just any small little places to start building.
Yuck.
And so it's not a good thing.
Yeah, not in my backyard. All right. Let's see here now. Lawmakers have taken critical steps in recent years to lower the overall cost of home ownership by reducing the property tax burden on Texans. And they did do that. We did see our taxes go down. And we are making progress as a state toward lowering artificial barriers and removing regulations that limit or inhibit home building. So this idea that Dallas has a housing shortage. Dale is up letting the dogs in again.
Go ahead.
You guys, our canines do not cooperate. Okay. Who else has a fur baby? Tell me, because ours are spoiled and they don't cooperate. Okay, this idea that Dallas has a housing shortage, wrong. Okay, Dallas has an affordable housing shortage. But here's the other part, a surplus of homes that not as many people can afford. Okay.
And there's some people that we don't want to get back into the 2008 time frame where we just made it where anybody could buy. You don't want to do that. That will cause a crash.
But yeah, so I think that's really interesting when we talk about, and really, like I put the title of this video, fact or fiction, right? So the fact is, that we do have an affordable housing shortage, but all of these people that are like, Dallas has a housing shortage, so you need to buy right now because, since we have a housing shortage, prices are only going to go up. It's that whole mentality that I really struggle with because there really is a surplus. I mean, that's the only way you can make sense of it, people. There is a surplus and a shortage at the same time, but the shortage is more for like the affordable options. All right, let's look at some comments here.
All right.
Rhonda says, good evening, Dale.
Hi, Rhonda.
Hey, Rhonda.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good to see you.
Yeah, it is good to see you.
Welcome aboard.
Humpty Dumpty.
Wow.
I've seen all of a sudden, had a great fall, multiple houses in my neighborhood that had been rentals for years recently went up for sale at the same time. What does that mean?
I've been seeing a lot of, I've seen some of that probably was property tax stuff, or just it's hard to and the rent demand was down some, so it's hard to get some. I think we'd have to look at specific areas to see for sure, but that's the general idea. So we have seen a softening rental market for sure. This is a good point. I don't understand. Well, the other part is just repairing and keeping up that price has gone up too. So I don't understand the lot sizes. The area I live in uses acres, half acres and such. I don't understand the 40 foot, the 50 foot either. The number that you're seeing there, that's the front. They call it the frontage of a lot. So in lots, if it was a perfect square or a rectangle, you're going to have, the front part, the sides, and then the back. Well, the front of the lot, that's the size that they're talking about. It's 40 foot wide, 50 foot wide. There are 45 foot wide lots are, it's like having a single family home, but getting as close to being a townhome as you can. They're not, you're just not quite connected. And you have 50 foot, that's your probably most popular that you see, or the most that you see, 50-foot lots, 50 and 55, and then 60-foot lots, and you'll get into 70, 80, and then 100-foot lots, you know, so they're big.
I was going to say, like,
Yeah.
from a value perspective, the 40 to
It's-
50
it's-
jump seems to make a big difference.
Yeah, there's still, just real quick, just you're saying it in acreage. Yeah, it's still, everything is still in acreage. If you look at the whole lot size, yes, it's still measured in acreage.
But he might
Yes.
just be saying that the
So,
point is
like,
that where he's at, they get bigger yards.
Yeah, so you
You know,
get,
that
well,
might
yeah,
be
yeah.
more his point.
Oh, well, in the
Maybe
higher
not, I don't
density
know.
areas, more populated areas, you'll see a lot of the master plan communities. They'll have multiple lot sizes, and so yeah, they're bit.
Yeah.
But like a 40-foot lot is going to be like a 0.110.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Acreage. You know, a 50 is going to be
Mhm.
like a 0.16 or something around that area.
Yeah.
So,
But I would say,
Yeah.
like, value wise, like, there seems to be a big difference between the 40s and the 50s. Not as big of a difference between the 50s and the 60s.
yeah.
You agree?
True. Yeah.
Yeah, like
'Cause you can
price
build-
wise, appreciation
You can
wise.
build similar size homes on a 50 and a 60-foot lot.
Mhm.
40-foot lots definitely are usually, they're either really small single story or they're tall, skinny 2-story.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say that too about the 40s. A lot of times you can get a much nicer house, like Highland Homes. They build a fairly nice upper scale house, and the most affordable ones you find of them is on the 40s. So they do a lot on the 40s, and so you can get like a really nice Highland home for less if you don't mind.
Yeah.
That you have like
Being real
0
close.
yard.
You don't
You're gonna
mind
be
leaning
super
out your
close.
window and
And
taking
yeah,
names with your neighbor.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Manipulation. Yes. Tell me more, Millionaire McCoy.
Manipulation.
I know you
Nice.
wrote that when we were reading something, and I'm sure you're probably right. Still plenty of
they're
houses for sale in West Dallas.
I think he's probably saying they're manipulating the numbers.
Yes,
statistics,
yeah,
so, yeah.
yeah, I think so too.
Still plenty of homes for sale in the West. Yeah, in West Dallas. Yeah, true.
Mhm, mhm. But affordability wasn't as bad during 2008 to 2012, I guess.
Well, yeah. At that point, yeah, because home prices came way down. But if there's 2 ways to look at that, you also have to track income increases as well too, and income increases have gone up quite a bit since then as well. So I don't have those numbers in front of me to know for sure.
Well, and I think
exactly
too,
what it is,
like,
but it's,
for sure, all the loan program options you had, affordability wouldn't have been bad at all. But all those
Yeah.
people ended up going into foreclosure.
yeah,
But like you had option arms that you could pay like a payment that was less, where your principal grew every month. So affordability definitely, and that to that extent of how many options you had to make sure you could afford this home, it was
yeah.
definitely
It was
not.
a heyday for investors.
Oh,
back then,
yeah,
so,
yeah, and for lenders
Yeah.
for sure. Okay. Always an ulterior motive when scare tactics are used to
Yeah.
motivate. That's exactly
Sure.
right. Yeah. I think
Well, they're just trying to
anytime.
push a specific agenda. You can see
Mhm.
that in the Dallas Fort Worth area. They're trying to push this Dallas Ford thing, higher density.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and also just whenever you're told, we have a housing shortage, you need to buy right now. Prices are only going to go up from here. You're going to miss out on this. There's not that many. I think that I was talking about that in a video today as well, just how much I hate that
Mhm.
that pressure tactic. Okay. Oh, this is an interesting question that we just know just a little bit about. Are retaining walls on sides and back, even if fairly small, a significant negative? Was shocked to learn they are unbelievably expensive to rebuild.
Yes,
They
are.
certainly are. Let me just tell
Yeah.
you, we went through
Well,
this.
and you get what you pay for definitely in a retaining wall, because there's a lot of engineering that goes into it. And one of the biggest parts is your drainage, to figure that out and make sure that's set up right. So
Yeah.
because if they're not set to drain right, it will deteriorate and it will not last. Plus the materials. I mean, one of the more popular ones is doing concrete ones, but that's also the most expensive too. It lasts probably the most, but yeah, it is tough.
We had to replace our retaining walls.
I wouldn't say they're a negative necessarily though, but there's a lot of new construction neighborhoods that have.
I feel like maybe they should be if people just knew, but experientially what I'm seeing in the market is that they aren't, that people don't think about it. But like, we had to replace ours, and ours were huge. Like, we had a lot of retaining walls and it was really expensive. And we ended up with some drainage issues after we replaced them that we had to spend even more money on. just because we went with it like a different style. So it's almost like, in my opinion, like maybe they should be, like maybe buyers should think about that.
Yeah.
Interesting thing, which I think is very interesting, on a lot of new construction, definitely saw this in Pecan Square, where the retaining wall that your home sits at, so like, let's just say you have your houses back to back, you're sitting on a retaining wall that's accessible through your neighbor's yard. And so your fence is sitting on the retaining wall that you would have to go into your neighbor's backyard in order to replace.
Yeah.
To me, that's weird. It's just, like, well, you got to go to your neighbor and say, and isn't there a specific rule on whose it is, whose
I think it's
responsibility
usually
it
the
is?
ones that the land sits on. So it would be the higher one.
So you literally have to
Usually.
make the neighbor let you go in
Yeah.
there, and then you have to pay to
Yeah.
have. So to me, it's a little bit complicated. I always rather have, if there's going to be
It
retaining.
makes sense from the standpoint that the retaining wall is holding that land up. So that's the one that should
Yeah.
be responsible for it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't think they are as much as they should be. Put it
Yeah,
that
I
way.
would just say, yeah, if you're interested in it, just do a lot of research, talk to
Mhm.
engineering, those
Yeah.
companies and stuff.
Let's see here. Do you actually expect Frisco, Prosper, Salina to pick up activity and prices to go up? The amount of new development plus future inventory will be high. New development, new master plan announces every month. There's a
Yeah.
lot of truth to that. There really is.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know some developers have bought some large acreage pieces up there recently. So in Salina, especially, I don't know. I think they'll continue to go up. It may not go up as fast. It will definitely be a steady increase, though. It will depend. Partly will depend on what the rates do, and what the jobs do, bringing in more people. So if we're bringing in a lot more people
Yeah.
and the rates go down, then they're definitely going to go up.
I mean, reputation is a lot. And when people start searching online, they always find Frisco, Prosper, Salina. Those are like the ones that people talk about as opportunity, especially if you've got higher rated schools. Frisco and Prosper ISD, those are the better rated schools. Salina ASD, not nearly as
Well,
much, but
As of a long time ago.
that is true too. Let's not even go down there with the TEA. All right. Still think January will be good time to buy in city of Dallas. Also, how do you know what's a FDA home that you can get with no down payment?
I think there's a specific, what is it? She's talking about USDA or she?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. When you say
USDA
FDA, are you talking about USDA? You're obviously talking about some kind of loan program.
Well, there's multiple loan programs.
There are,
programs
yeah.
for that. And USDA is usually in more rural areas. FDA is, I don't know if that's the exact right terms, but there are multiple HUD programs like that for helping with down payments and stuff. There's several different times you have to talk to lenders and see which ones, and they are by certain areas, but a lot of it has to do, there's two major things they're looking at is for those areas. They're looking at what the median sales prices are. There's going to be a limit on that, and then they're going to look at what the income levels are in those areas and what your income is too. So, yeah.
Yep. So data census tracking. I know we've done a loan like that.
To know how do you tell where the areas
Well,
are? So
yeah, I know for one of them, the data census tracking one, you had to enter an address, and it would tell you yes, it's in that area, or no, it's not.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's see here now.
Data census tracking. Remember that data census tracking.
Did I sound smart when I said that? I mean, it's
You're
just so
always smart,
sophisticated. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I've been intentionally having Dale talk a lot more because I had like at least two people say, "Would you just shut up and let Dale talk? He knows a lot." So I've been like, I told him, I was like, "You have to talk a lot on this live stream because everybody wants to hear from you."
Yeah,
they hear from me in the videos. They want to hear from you on the live streams. All right. Thoughts that Texas Energy Code efficiency is some of the lowest and worst in the nation. Interesting. Seems that codes don't care about heat, only cold. North USA efficiency code is so much better. I would love to hear more about that. I think that's very interesting.
Could be.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting. You're right, because cold isn't that much of an issue here. Just like maybe a couple months out of the year, January, February.
I do know that new construction of the homes are a lot more efficient than they used to be. And I see average electricity bills from some of these and stuff, and they're a lot lower than like a lot of your older homes and stuff. So I don't know if it's Yeah.
Why the home customizations are costing more than 10% of the house value, and why do builders are charging even for patios? That's a good question.
Because, well, the patio, they have a certain size that they set for a plan. And patio, what is patio when it's concrete? That's one of their highest material costs is concrete. So if you're going to extend it, yes, they're going to charge more for that. And you can get, I would say, if you're not sure what you're going to do with your backyard yet, and you're buying new construction, maybe you want to wait to extend your patio, and especially if it's not covered, and do that afterwards and have the other place, because they can probably do it for less overall. And just in general, customizations, materials are, and builders are going to be more with customizations as well.
And I think what you're seeing is that new builds cost so much more than inventory, because with inventory, that stuff gets thrown in, right? But then with the new builds, it's always going to cost more. All of those customizations. I remember Bloomfield Homes, looking at them, and they had like this teeny tiny back patio that was standard. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I can't believe that's that small. So what you're seeing is just in general, new builds are going to cost you. You're going to spend so much more to have it, done exactly the way you want it. Got it. Thanks. Sorry. Don't know all the terminology. Looking in Oak Cliff. Do you know what the average price drop is in January around that zip code?
What was it?
75212. He's looking it up right now. All right. While he's doing that, I'm going to go on to the next one. He's going to look it up. A lot of brokers say for new construction, expect to pay plus 10% of list price on upgrades and design. Do you think 10% is the norm and average? I think it depends on the builder. You want me to look that?
No, go keep
Okay.
going.
I think it depends a lot on the builder. I really do, and it depends on their ability to customize, because grand homes can be way more than that, because they just have a lot more options. And then other homes, I think it's Shattuck, they only, even with your new build, you have to buy in an entire package. There's just very little customization that you can do. Like you have a cabinet countertop package that you can do. So a lot of that is going to depend very specifically on the builder that you're using. But you also have to think about, so upgrades and designs, you also have to think about the lot premium, right? When I think about like structural upgrades, again, like First Texas and Grand, you can do so much more structurally. And then a lot of the other builders, it's more like structural upgrade is adding a fireplace, right? And so that doesn't actually, or it might be like putting doors up, a certain type of doors into an office. That's what they consider structural. Whereas like Grand, they're like, yeah, you can add the whole second story, you can add a whole other bedroom. And so I think that you can't consistently say that 10% is going to work. It really is going to be, builder dependent.
So let's go back to,
so
75212. I just went back. I'm looking at 10 years, but I'm only going to go to like end of 2020. So in December 2020, it went from 303.5 to 224.350. And actually, and then the next couple years, 2021 to 22, they were flat. Went from, actually went up a little bit, 415 to 420. And then same thing in December 22 to January 23, it went from 330 to 340. But then we had a pretty good one. Actually, it was flat again. 23 to 24. So the big drops in the last 2 or 3 years here were more from the October to December timeframe.
Okay, that's interesting.
And then, both of those. So,
Hopefully that makes sense. 2,000 square foot house on a 50-foot lot costs more than a 2,800 square foot house on a 40-foot lot. Absolutely. Like I said, there's a big price difference between a 40 and a 50. Huge difference in value and desirability, but then between 50 and 60, you don't see nearly that. So I completely agree. Melissa or Salina, which one should I prefer as an investment home? Cash flow wise, probably Salina, just because you can get a cheaper house. That's what comes to mind for me when I'm comparing.
Get a cheaper house in Salina?
No, I think you can get a cheaper did I say that wrong?
Yeah.
And Melissa, I'm sorry. And Melissa, I think is probably going to be a better option because you can get a cheaper house and have similar cash flow. I did a video about that once.
Investment home. Yeah. Investment home.
Yeah, I did a video about that once, how like in Salina, you had to pay so much and the rent really wasn't all that much higher.
That area is growing too. I mean, just the Melissa Anna area, because it's really close to 75 up, and there's a lot of shopping that's being built up and stuff. Yeah.
Another thing is that Melissa schools, Melissa
really
ISD, those schools are really good, and then Salina ISD is not rated nearly as high, but Salina's probably got the better reputation. So
yeah,
boy, that helps a little bit. Are 40-foot lots a tough resale in your experience? I think it depends on the location. I really do. I think it depends, like if it's tends to be a little bit more of a corporate location or something like that, where townhomes are also common. But I kind of think that they could be.
I would say, I don't know, almost every of the major plan, master plan communities, almost all of them have 40-foot lots too. So they're selling them. They actually go pretty fast, a lot of them.
It depends. So I guess it really does depend.
I don't know. Depends on the area. Yeah.
That's about neighborhoods where that kind of goes with that, where they mix 40, 50s, and 60s all next to each other. I think Fields is like this. How do comps work? For example, if I buy 60, my price paid would be so high. So you would want to compare a 60 to a 60, or, like, again, 50 to 60 is not as much of a difference, but 40 to 50 or 60 is a really big difference.
And if you're looking at new construction, you need to compare the same builder too. Really, you need to try to, anything that you compare and comp to, and try to get as many of the much criteria the same as possible.
I like how Pecan Square handles their 40s and 50s and 60s, because they have like this really they have that it's separate, and they have like this majestic entryway, and that's where they have their 40s. It's just kind of stately and very impressive.
Well, they have them around the square area, and Harvest does that too. There's some other neighborhoods that you see those bigger neighborhoods like that where they have the 40s are usually in the center. And they're like almost like a town square type setup, and then you go out, spread out, and you have bigger lots.
ZMAG says, I prefer a 40-foot lot. There is less yard maintenance. Absolutely.
That's true. A lot of places,
absolutely.
There are a lot of neighborhoods that have 40-foot lots where the HOA actually takes care of your front yard.
Yeah. All right. So Millionaire McCoy says, do you guys feel a recession is in the works? A lot of predictions calling for end of Q2 to Q3.
I think we're already in a recession. If you look at jobs, the job market and stuff like that, I think we have been almost most of this year. So.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Does Painted Tree McKinney overrated or worth it for the price? What do you think about Painted Tree?
They do seem pretty pricey there.
Really
I haven't looked at, honestly, I have to say, I haven't looked at prices there real recent, but from what I have looked, so I haven't looked to see if they've dropped some over recent, but yeah, it's a nice area, nice looking neighborhood. It depends what you want from McKinney. McKinney is nice in that area where Painted Tree is a nice area. McKinney's going to grow more, especially once they get that the airport up there turned into an international airport.
It's true. That will make a big difference.
More business and stuff up there.
That's a good point. So, very good point.
Yeah, that's that north part of McKinney. Yeah.
Why don't we see square-shaped lots? Why would width matter if the square footage is equal? It's a good question. It's always like they're always different. Footprint of the house. Well, I bet.
Well, it is. Yeah, you'd have to have a much wider lot and to get any yard.
Yeah, I think so. And the footprint of the house
how many square foot squared sized houses? Square shaped houses. So,
all right, you guys. Well, that is the last of the comments, and we're going to run. We've got a 7:30 call with a new buyer. We're going to try to eat really fast before then. So you guys have a great rest of the week, and we'll talk to you again later. Bye.